Good evening, and thank you for joining us here at the Star of Zion. I am Sam Brown with the Star of Zion. On behalf of our esteemed editor-in-chief, we are so thankful to have you join us this evening as we assemble to talk about the impact of family on the ministry. Please continue to subscribe to our YouTube channel for the Star of Zion. You can follow us on Facebook and visit our website at www.starofzion.org. Please subscribe to our paper and also subscribe to our digital subscriptions as well. We're so thankful to have joining with us tonight our host, Reverend Austin J. Young, pastor of the John Wesley AME Zion Church in Southfield, Michigan. He will moderate our conversation this evening with our guest, Bishop Michael Angelo Frencher. Let us welcome Reverend Young.
Thank you so much, Reverend Brown, and certainly appreciate you and to the Star of Zion and to Mr. Kent. Thank you so much for this invitation. Good evening, everybody. It is a good evening. It's a blessed evening that all of us get to enjoy together. And thank each of you for joining us on this live. I have the esteemed pleasure of introducing my bishop and having a great conversation together with my bishop, Bishop Michael A. Frencher, the 101st Bishop in line of succession in the AME Zion Church. Hey, Bishop Frencher, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Reverend Young. How are you doing?
Good.
Very happy to be here and very happy to be sharing with this audience on this evening.
Yes, sir. Well, tonight, Bishop, we've just simply come to talk about family. Family is so important, especially during this Thanksgiving season. And also, we've learned how important family is even during this pandemic as well. And so help us to kind of understand how important is family to you, sir?
Okay, family is extremely important to me. I've been blessed to have a wonderful family growing up. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, and I grew up really in a family where everybody was in the same house. I had both sets of grandparents who lived downstairs. I had my other grandparents, my mother's parents, who lived upstairs with us. So I was blessed to have a father, a mother, and two sets of grandparents living in the same house. Mm-hmm. And so each of them really shared so much wisdom with me that it really helped me make major adjustments as I went through life. So I just thank God for the family, and I thank God for my present family. Yeah. My wife, Jelenia, who I met, who grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we met through a mutual friend. We have two beautiful children, my daughter, Michelle Elizabeth, and my son, Michael Angelo Frencher Jr., and we have two wonderful grandchildren, my grandson, Brandon Jamel Bell Jr., and Michael Angelo Frencher III. And so I have a wonderful family, and family means the world to me.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing about your family there, Bishop. And as we're thinking about your upbringing and also even now your present family, how has ministry and family worked together for you? How has family impacted ministry? And likewise, how has ministry impacted family?
Okay. Well, to be honest with you, I just thank God for, again, my family, my father, mother, my grandparents, and I forgot to mention two brothers and two sisters. Also, they formed five of us. They had me, my parents had me baptized at the St. Paul AME Zion Church when it was on Palmer and Beaubien. Bishop William Alexander Hilliard was the pastor, and he baptized me. In later years, he gave me both of my ordinations, deacon and elder. But my family introduced me to Christ. And my family kept me grounded in the church. My family made sure we went to Sunday school. They made sure we attended church service.
Right.
And I know, Reverend Young, you might be a little too old to remember the Christian Endeavor Society. I do remember when we were young, Christian Endeavor was held in the evenings around 6 o'clock. And I remember as young kids when we were going to Christian Endeavor, I didn't know what they were saying when I was real young. I thought they were saying Christian Endeavors Society, but I later learned it was Christian Endeavor, where we really learned. But I just thank God for my parents, because they not only brought us to church. They didn't just send us, they brought us to church.
Right.
And not only did they bring us to church, they lived what went on in the church. They were the church for us. Mm-hmm. So in essence, we had church every day during the week.
Wow.
We prayed at meal times. I still belong to the old-fashioned family where we all sat down and ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner together.
Mm-hmm.
We prayed before every meal. We prayed at night, our prayer, the Lord's Prayer. And our parents just taught us to stay connected with the Lord, not just on Sunday, but every day during the week. So we not only went to church, we had church in our home, because our parents made sure we studied the Bible and that we read the Bible daily. And every day, even to today, I read the Bible through every year. Every year I start from Genesis and finish the entire Bible. And that's something I learned growing up in a Christian home. And even today, with my present family, when our kids would go to school, we would, when they were in high school and middle school, we gathered together as a family every morning. We held hands and we prayed before they went off to school, and we went off to our various responsibilities. Those are the things I learned from my parents. Wow. I learned that church was not just something you went to on Sunday,
yes, sir,
or during the week for prayer meeting or Bible study, but it was something you went to because real church was not something you actually went to, but real church was something that was in you. And so I thank God for my parents for building the church in me. And we pass that on to our children even today.
Wow. Wow. That's a great point, Bishop, to talk about church is not something we just go to. It's in you. Our viewers ought to be able to put that in the comment there. Bishop, you talked about baptism at the beginning of our talk together. And my understanding that you just baptized or assisted baptizing your own grandson, I believe.
That's true. Yes. I had the privilege and the pleasure of baptizing both of my grandchildren. I baptized my first grandchild a few years ago, and just a couple of weeks ago, I had the pleasure of baptizing my second grandson, Michael Angelo Frencher, the third, at Trinity A. Zion Church. And since we're talking about baptism, my son, Michael Angelo Frencher Jr., was baptized by Bishop Cecil Bishop.
Wow.
At the Allegheny Conference, during Sunday morning of the Allegheny Conference, Bishop Cecil Bishop baptized Michael Jr. So all of my children can say, I baptized Michelle, my daughter, baptized her myself. So all of them can say in some way, form, or another, they were baptized by Bishop.
Yes, sir. What a special honor that is. I'm looking in our chat and I'm seeing a whole bunch of folks, Bishop, who are agreeing with you that they had their foundation in VCE, at Christian Endeavor there across our beloved Zion. Well, likewise, Bishop, let's also talk about how ministry then impacted your family. Maybe in some positive ways, or maybe sometimes in some challenging ways that ministry impacted family.
Well, our children grew up in church, and Therefore, they had Christ instilled within them. And the church has made a major impact on how they interact with other children, with their peers. It's just good to know that people look to them and can see Christ in them because of what the church instilled within them. Normally, when they go places and they interact with children, sometimes the children know that, well, we can't go here or we can't do that because Michelle's here and Michael's here, and they, their father's a minister.
Right.
But in truth of fact, they're respected because of that. They're looked up to because people connect them with the church. So the church has made a major impact in their lives. They both serve in the church. As you know, Michael Jr. is a pastor in the Amy Zion Church. He's married to a minister, Reverend Anita Frencher, and together they formed a wonderful team, not just in the church, but everywhere they go. The church goes with them. So the church has made a major impact in their lives because the church gives them direction. The church helps them to adjust to the things that happen to them in life. They're able to accept challenges. They're able even to accept defeat because of the background of the church, which undergirds them and forms the foundation that really keeps them steady.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So as we progress in our conversation together, and I thank you for this candid conversation we get to have and share together across our beloved Zion. But now moving towards a more general sense, how can the church, through ministry, really address some of the issues that families face even yet today?
That's a very, very good question. Let me move into this question this way, and I'm just going to be open and candid with you since we are relaxed. As I grow older and older, more and more, I find myself resisting change. I used to wonder as a young person why older folk was so hard to accept change. And now I find myself a certified senior citizen. And I also find myself sometimes just not dealing with change in the best way. Okay. But I found that change is inevitable. That if you really want to not only survive, but thrive, you have to embrace change. And so let me just back up and say my children have gone a long way in helping me to accept change. And one of the things that, I'll use the example of the phone, the cell phone. I remember the bag phone. And, I was satisfied with the bag phone. I later graduated to the flip phone. Now, when I had the flip phone, you couldn't tell me nothing. I thought I had arrived with the flip phone. But here come the children. All of a sudden, they start introducing me to the iPhone, the Apple, all of the iPad and the Apple phone. And I said, I don't need all of that. And what I need all I need is a phone where I can talk to somebody. And this flip phone is doing the job. Well, I finally graduated to the iPhone. And I got the iPhone. And I was satisfied with it. But then all of a sudden, these messages started coming on the iPhone talking about software update.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I said, well, I don't need to update the phone. I'm satisfied with what I have. And I was okay. And I kept ignoring the software update. I kept ignoring it. Then finally, I needed my phone to do something, and it could not do it. Well, I got upset with the phone. I just thought it was a bit of trash. And I was really upset with the phone. And I went to my wife and she said, but honey, you go to the kids. The kids will help you out. And so Michelle and Michael J said, Daddy, did you not receive something on your phone that said software update?
Yeah.
I said, yeah. I just ignored it. They said, well, that's why your phone is not doing what it's supposed to do. And that slapped me right in the face. And I began to realize that in life, there are some things that when we're talking about ministry,
yes, sir,
we don't necessarily have to change everything, just update it, upgrade it, and in some cases overhaul it, and it will do for you. I learned a very valuable lesson. So to answer your question, one of the things we have to be willing to accept is change.
Yeah.
And I know that many of us are stuck in our ways, that we want things to be the way we want them to be. But I would say to people, have an open mind to receive what the Lord is saying to you and what those who represent God are also saying to you. And that includes the young people in our church who now are so versed and well-versed in technology. We have to be willing to listen more. And I've said this on numerous occasions, and talk less. And so I think that as we deal, the church is in the best position to deal with crises. I say that because the church, well, let me say it this way. The two greatest institutions that Black folk have is the Black family and the Black church.
Yes, sir.
And as long as those two work together, we can conquer any situation and we can meet any challenge. The Black church has gone through great periods and survived. We've gone through slavery, Reconstruction, we've gone through apartheid, we've gone through police brutality, racism, discrimination, the civil rights movement. We've gone through a whole lot and we survived. So what I'm saying here is that we need to listen more to the church. The gospel has the answer to all the situations that we're going through in life. The gospel has the answer to everything that we need addressing. And so I say that the church is in the best position. And why I say this is because the church is made up of families, Black families. And I'm saying when I speak of the Black church. And the church not only is in the best position to help, but the church over the years has proven that it's an agency that truly cares about what's going on in the lives of people. If we are honest with ourselves, we will say we would not be where we are today had it not been for the Black church. Even folk who do not support the church like they used to, even those who think that they've risen beyond the church and gone on to have successful careers in other areas, they will have to admit that it was the church that gave them their start. And they will have to also admit that every now and then they have to come back to the church to receive the strength, the wisdom, and the wherewithal that they need to continue to make it.
For sure. Bishop, I like what Crystal Bailey is adding on to your point here on the screen. It's time to be proactive and not reactive anymore, so we can thrive and not just survive. Bishop, as you've been talking, you've started two things. Number one is you started a whole bunch of sermon series for a whole bunch of preachers who's going to be preaching updates are necessary next Sunday. Updates are necessary. That's a good sermon title. And you've also started an Android versus iPhone war in the chat. All right. So
Okay.
you are team iPhone, Bishop.
I'm iPhone.
You team iPhone. All right. I'm team Android. We gonna make it. All right.
We're gonna be all
Good.
right.
Yes, sir. Look, going further and deeper into this matter, as you talked about the Black church and Black families being the two strong institutions within our lives. What then can be some barriers that churches face? What can be some barriers that churches face in reaching families and in transforming the communities in which they serve? Knowing that we not only seek to transform those folks who are seated in Sunday morning worship, but also in our communities as well.
Okay, give me that. I seem to have lost
Yes,
you. Okay,
okay, all right.
there you are.
Oh, we found now, lost but found. Yes, all right. What are some?
Give me that again.
Yeah, no problem. What are some barriers that the church face in reaching families and transforming communities in which they serve, knowing really that we are not just meant to serve the communities that are in the sanctuary or the families that we see every Sunday morning or Wednesday Bible study, but also those in the community as well? How are some ways or maybe some barriers that can be listed in reaching those families in the community?
Okay. Well, I had been thinking about the ministries that the church ought to be engaged in. Mm-hmm. And I know the church is pretty much have worship down pat. Most of us know how to worship. But the church should go beyond worship, because worship is supposed to give us the strength to serve. And so worship without service really is lacking. There's something lacking. So I just think there's some ministry that we really need to be serious about. One of the ministries really is the couples and singles ministry. Couples and singles ministry. Most of us are familiar with the nuclear family, the father, mother, and the children, but we got to really accept the fact that there are many single parent homes. Single parent homes. And there are some single mothers raising children, and there's some single fathers raising children. We need to have ministries to help them face the challenges they face in life. We need to have ministries that speak to their situations, because they're the ones who will be bringing our children, who will be part of our cradle roll, our cherubim choirs, our youth choirs. These are our acolytes, our youth and children ushers. These are folk who will later become our stewards, our trustees, our class leaders, our pastors, our presiding elders, our bishops. We need to embrace singles and couples ministries and help these people adjust to the challenges that they face in life. The church needs to reach out to them. We need them and they need the church. And then also, I want to look at not just couples ministry, but we got to really look seriously at technology. We have to really look at technology. Now is the time for young folk to really step up. I admit I don't know a whole lot about technology. I have to admit, I throw up my hands and admit it. But now we need to step back, because say what you will, technology, virtual services are here to stay. They are here to stay. Even when we move back into in-person services in our churches, we cannot forsake the virtual platforms. We cannot. Therefore, churches need to put more monies into their technology. We need to put more monies and funds into those things that will help us reach the larger audience that we've been able to reach since COVID. Now, COVID hasn't been all bad, because COVID has forced us really to utilize technology. And this is another ministry that really we do well to look at. And then I want to look at healthcare ministries.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Healthcare.
Good.
This is the way that we can really utilize and employ the doctors and the nurses and the people who are in the medical field in our churches to use them for ministry.
Right.
For ministry. Every church ought to have some type of health care in their church. Every church ought to have health care. I was a member of the board, the Parish Nursing Board, when I served in Greensboro. And I know today the Trinity AME Zion Church is still carrying on their healthcare ministry. They've become a site for COVID testing. We need to enter into these particular areas because they affect our people, and what affects our people affects us. And so the church needs to move into the healthcare. Now, just last week, the Balm in Gilead had an excellent, what they call Healthy Churches 2013, 2030.
2030, yes, sir.
2030. They had professionals, people who were well versed in their fields, sharing about Alzheimer's and diabetes and COVID-19. We need to take advantage of all of these opportunities. We need to make health a priority issue in our churches because this will draw our people in. I know the St. Paul Church in Detroit, my home church, has a healthy corner where they list various items that will be interested for people to read and learn more about healthcare. So this is another area that the church needs to become more deeply involved in, and this will go a long way. And then we have other ministries, not going to elaborate long on them, but we actually need to have a political action and voter registration committees. We need to do more about supporting our schools. We need to do a whole lot more also with jobs and income markets. We need to do more in the area of housing. Whatever difficulties our people are facing, whatever challenges they are facing, can become a ministry in the church. Because once we hook up with people in these fields and they are anointed by the Spirit of God, there is no telling what we can do to help our people, not just spiritually, but physically, mentally, and every otherwise as well. And we need to be concerned about the whole person. Jesus said to the man, "Will you be made whole?" So our churches need to become holistic in ministry. And wherever needs our people have, we need to create a ministry that will address those needs.
Wow. Yes, sir. Everybody ought to put an amen right in the chat right after that. That's a good point, Bishop. I want to bring up, I believe, Sister Kennard's post here, and specifically talking about the multiple areas in which we talked about addressing with families and singles and married ministries, also in healthcare more particularly. Is there an opportunity for a connectional plan for us here?
Okay, when you say connectional plan, you're just saying something is coming down from the top of the church. Well, I know most of the when you say, I'm wondering, are you talking about technology, health, or just all of it?
Well, it could be all of it there for us, especially as it relates to maybe our quadrennial theme and addressing some of these things so that it trickles from the top down.
I hear you. Okay. Most of us have organized within our Episcopal areas and certainly in our conferences, technology teams and healthcare teams. And I do know that DK or Darren Kent is also asked that each area have somebody designated to work with technology from the connectional level. And I know within the missionary department, they are also addressing this concern from that particular level. And I did see somebody put in the chat, Project what was it? Project
100. Yes, sir.
100.
Yes, sir.
Project 100.
That's right. Thank you,
which really was created to deal with the election of 2020. But they continue to share information relating to the political world. So yes, connectionally, we are trying to form committees. We're trying to get people involved at the connectional level that can filter down through the conferences, through the district, and through the local churches, information that will help them to set up these kinds of ministries. These kinds of ministries, these kinds of, again, holistic ministry. We got to just stop just thinking in one area. We got to start spreading out and dealing from a broader perspective.
Good piece there. Well, Bishop, as we are kind of wrapping up our conversation together, talking about family, if you have one, share with us as we're being transparent. And that's one of the things I really want to thank you about, Bishop, is being transparent in this moment. Share with us maybe a favorite family memory, either one of in your childhood, or maybe even some that you may have recently, kind of a favorite family memory of any sort there.
Favorite family memory.
I put you on the spot to recall. Yes, sir.
Yeah, there are a whole lot of things that we as a family have done. And I'm trying to think of a good one. I do know that as I was growing up in my family, my brothers and sisters, all fathers and mothers, they all saw the call of God in my life. And I know coming up as a boy, my first funeral was one of the neighborhood dogs had died. I was called to do the committal. And in terms of another childhood thing that always remained with me, at the St. Paul Church, was a young girl. She was named Tamika Gaddis. Was just a little girl, and she was playing with her Barbie dolls. She had a Barbie and a Ken doll.
Okay.
My first marriage was marrying her dolls. We still talk about that to this day.
Okay.
But our family, I'm trying to think of a funny thing that happened in our family. And I'm trying
so Bishop, as you were thinking, let's just recap what you just said. You did a funeral for a dog and a marriage for a Barbie and an action figure. Okay, all right, got it. Okay.
I'm being transparent. I'm being open, but it only served to show that somebody saw something in me.
Most certainly.
That I did not see in myself.
Wow.
But my present family, there have been many times when we've gotten together to do a lot of things. And I know when my children were young, we would drive many times to different meetings, especially to the winter meetings of Christian education.
Right.
And we always put in a tape for them to entertain them while we were driving down the road. Well, even to this day, those kids still remind us of all of those moments when they listen to those stories, listen to those tapes as we were driving down the road.
Right.
and they still have some of them, and still repeat some of them to us, which let us know that when we didn't think that they were listening, when we didn't think that they heard us, as they grew older in life, these things began to manifest themselves in their actions. And now, even to this day, the children, our children, have nothing but the utmost respect for their mother and their father.
Wow.
And that means more to me than anything else. It's always good after a hard day to come home and know that your children don't judge you. Your children don't talk about you. I mean, well, they do, they talk about you, but it's in a loving way.
Yes, sir.
But your children look up to you. And I can say that my family has blessed me because they always look up to me.
Yeah.
And I know that when some folk are upset with me, amen, I can always go home.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I can always go home.
Wow.
And both of my children, periodically, almost every day, they send us a picture of some kind or do a video of our grandchildren. And that brings joy to our hearts. So there is really nothing like family.
Yes, sir.
And people who have family really embrace them because family, as someone put right here, I'm just getting ready to say it.
That's right.
Family is everything.
Yeah.
There are other moments. I just can't think of all the
yes,
other.
Sir. That's good there. Our last question today, Bishop, is this. Are there any Thanksgiving traditions that you usually engage in that are important or have engaged in that are pivotal to you? And as you're thinking about that, I'm going to invite our viewing audience, even in the chat now, to put in your Thanksgiving traditions if you have some for your family.
Okay, do we have a special tradition? No, we really don't. We get together, and the only tradition is my wife cooks and I eat. Amen. But no, we don't have any special tradition. The only tradition I sort of hold to, and my family is finally sort of embracing, is that we don't start Christmas until after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
But you know, they've been backing Christmas up more and more and more. Sometimes they back Christmas all the way into October.
After Halloween, it's fair game for Christmas. Yes, sir.
Hey, but in my house,
yes, sir,
we don't start Christmas until after Thanksgiving. Really, when we move into the Advent season, we start to celebrate Christmas. So we don't put up any Christmas tree, no lights or anything. And I don't even listen to Christmas music until after Thanksgiving. And after Thanksgiving, we move into the Christmas season.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Well, Bishop, this has been a very fruitful time together. And as we're wrapping up this evening and talking about how family impacts ministry, I think we've rested on the fact that family is everything. And especially during this COVID time, we're praying that everyone has a safe and certainly a joyous Thanksgiving together. Bishop, any lasting words for us today?
Well, I want to also wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. As I mentioned at the very beginning, family and church go hand in hand. And it's just my prayer that we will really take a serious look at our family members, especially those who are not in the church. And I really think that we just need to do all we can to make sure that everyone in our family goes to church. Now, the Frenchers do have a tradition that we hold very firm to. We opened our house. We've opened our house to several people down through the years, and even today, we open our house to people who are just out for whatever reason, down on their, as a secular term, down on their luck. We've opened our doors and let them in.
Right.
But there's one thing they must adhere to. If you're going to be in our house on Sunday, we are not leaving going to church and leave you in bed.
In bed, yes, sir.
So if you are
Yeah.
in the Frencher house on
Yes,
Sunday,
sure.
you have to go to church
Wow.
with us. And so we always hold true to that. And I want to say to people, don't get too caught up in the commercialism of Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be a time when we would be broke because of all the stuff we bought during Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
and we would take the whole year to pay it off,
Yeah.
only to get broke again the next Christmas. But over the last few years, my wife and I have found that if we can't afford it, we won't buy it.
Yes.
And we refuse to get in a whole lot of debt during the commercialism of Christmas. So let's not get too caught up in the commercialism of Christmas, but let us go to church, be it virtual or in person. And let us not go to church by ourselves,
Right.
but let's take somebody to church with us. Let's take somebody to church with us. And if you would do that, as we enter into the new year, our churches will grow and grow and grow.
Yes, sir.
Because we would be more and more intentional about bringing people to church. The church benefited you. The church can benefit somebody else.
Right.
So let us not be selfish about this, but let us invite somebody to church, and not only invite them, bring them. And the final thing,
yes, sir.
every day,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
is a day of Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir. Wow.
Let's not just use one time a year to help people, to feed people, and to do all of these things for people. Let's carry the Thanksgiving spirit and the Christmas spirit with us every day of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And that will make a difference in how we treat people and how we respond to situations in our lives. Mm-hmm. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity. I want to thank Mr. Kent. I want to thank Reverend Brown and all of those at the Star of Zion who gave me an opportunity to just share a few thoughts with you about the importance of family. And may God continue to bless you all.
Amen. Thank you so much, Bishop Frencher. And before we tune off, don't tune off just yet. Just give us a few more seconds here. Can we together in the chat just help wish each other and Bishop Frencher happy Thanksgiving? Thank each of you for this time together and for tuning in. Thank you, Bishop, for allowing me to have a candid conversation with you. And thank you to the Star of Zion. I'm now going to pass this off to the Reverend Sam Brown, who's going to come with some more information for us. Happy Thanksgiving. Y'all have a good night.
Amen. God bless you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for staying on for just a second. Wanted to raise just a few announcements. Our Star of Zion is working hard just for you, for our beloved Zion. And there are some announcements that I want to share with you. It does not stop with tonight, but it continues even throughout this week. So please stay tuned this week for some of the announcements that will come forth. You will see on Tuesday, November the 23rd, that's tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll be an informative presentation about diabetes, awareness, and prevention. Again, that's November the 23rd at 8 p.m. And we're so excited to have a special guest with us to start talking about and having this conversation together. Also, please note that during this week, you will join us for Thanksgiving, featuring greetings from our Episcopal leadership in the Amy Zion Church. And also, there's a step-by-step cooking show. You don't want to miss this. There will be a step-by-step cooking show in which we will get to cook together from a culinary curator of Quinn's Kitchen and owner of Fleming Street together. That's Thursday, November the 25th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you get your ingredients there: Cajun seasoning, Cajun shrimp, some roasted broccoli, and some sweet potatoes, y'all. I'm excited about that. So join us on November the 25th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then also join us for World AIDS Day Observance service that is coming up on next week on Wednesday, December the 1st, 2021, again at 12 noon. Join us on all of our social media platforms. You will see special guests from the International Ministers and Lay Association, the Department of Church Growth and Development, and also the Salisbury District Women Homes and Overseas Missionary Society. And we pray that you will join us for that time, Wednesday, December the 1st at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. I believe that ends all of our announcements for today. As said earlier, I pray that each of you have a safe and a wonderful Thanksgiving. We'll see y'all until next time.